there's real fraud there. It looks like there's some real shenanigans there. And it seems very suspicious that a lot of them were in Republican areas. There's a lot of shenanigans.
Oh my God. We, as an American society, in the year 2023 of our holy Lord, are unfortunately too stupid to come back from. It's done. We've passed the barrier of stupidity, and it's done. Let's hear from a brilliant, bold, beautiful patriot about this.
What is your theory of why DeSantis is not having momentum? What do you think about when you think about DeSantis?
Trump. He doesn't have the personality. I just don't think he can compete with Trump. Trump has just this cult behind him. I mean, these people that love Trump, he's their hero. And the things that he says, the bombastic personality, the way he can control a room, the way he speaks in an arena of screaming fans, and makes people laugh and says things that they want to hear. DeSantis can't do that. I mean, he did a great job with Florida, and people loved his position as a governor in Florida, but I feel like he's that up.
DeSantis. So I know you said that you thought he would make a good president, and there's a bunch of things about him. Like, for example, he thinks weed should stay illegal. It smells bad.
Is that really his opinion, that it smells bad?
He said it
Does
smells,
he not know about edibles?
Quote, putrid, and he wants it to stay banned because of that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is that really his rationalization?
Jamie, if you want, you could pull that up.
Yeah, that's what it says here, but it's legal in Florida.
Yo, Kyle is taking control of Jamie, dude. He said, Jamie, pull that shit up.
Ooh.
I love when the host is telling Jamie to pull shit up, dude. He's like, pull that shit up, Jamie.
Medically.
It says marijuana should remain criminalized because of its putrid odor. Polling compiled by the University of North Florida showed that most Floridians want the adult use of marijuana to be legal in the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
That's certainly not the case. In fact, under state law, the possession of up to 20 grams of cannabis is punished by a $1,000 fine and up to a year in prison. Possession of greater amounts is a felony. So what has he said? What I don't like about it is if you go to some of these places that have done it, the stench when you're out there, I mean, it smells so putrid.
Dude, Kyle's so smart. Okay, listen. He is 100%. You already know what he's doing. I don't even need to explain it. Yeah, Kyle's holding a carrot and Joe is sniffing. Oh, yeah. Because Joe's been glazing up DeSantis nonstop because he's like, oh, I'm so right-wing. I love Austin, Texas. Like, oh, whatever. And Kyle's like, oh, yeah? You like DeSantis? Well, here's what he said about weed, dog. How do you feel about that shit, Joe? You know Joe can't sit here and keep glazing him up after this shit.
He's talking about the city, Austin, not me.
Yeah.
I am not right-wing.
Austin is right-wing, 100%.
I want people to be able to breathe freely.
Talk about the city.
That's silly.
But
that's also like...
He's like, look, oh, God, which one in his dumb ape brain, which of the things does he care about more? Does he care about, presenting himself as this, right-wing, out-of-touch weirdo? Or does he love weed?
I want to know the context. I mean, that's a quote.
Oh, he's looking for context. Dude, it's so funny. He looks for context when it's something that, he only looks for context when it's something that he's already personally invested in. He's like, oh yeah, this motherfucker never looks for context when some dumbass Facebook post is telling him that vaccines turn children autistic and gay. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, that's real. Did you see that? But when it's the kitty litter shit, you know what I mean? Kitty litter boxes are being put in schools. A buddy of mine told me that. But when it comes to Ron DeSantis talking about marijuana legalization, is like, oh, well, I don't know.
DeSantis demurs on marijuana legalization, but can't stand the dank stank. Well, okay, you don't have to like the smell. I mean, I feel like he's that up.
For the record, I do love seeing my commentary for months and months on Ron DeSantis, specifically as it pertains to COVID, get reflected on NPR and New York Times as well months later. One thing that I talked about a lot with Ron DeSantis was his only strong element was that during COVID, he just didn't shut down and he was ruthless about it. And Republicans loved that, right? Even though he originally did shut down in the beginning. And nobody in the United States of America, other than people in the margins who are either on one side of the issue or on the other, either who still want to have COVID shutdowns or have extra protection and protocol, who are technically on the right side, at least overly cautious, but still on the right side of medical history, versus the other people who are psychotic freaks who still are the vaccines make. Most Americans don't want to think about COVID. And I've said it so many times. Ron DeSantis had its moment in the spotlight with moves that he made during a time frame that nobody wants to think about because it ultimately makes them feel bad. Most Americans do not want to look back at COVID. They do not want to look back at the weight they gained. They do not want to look back and think about their relatives that passed away in a hospital in a ventilator with no one around. They do not want to look back at the dark times. They want to move forward and they want to have regular old experiences once again, and they've achieved that. So for that reason, this is a big benefit for Trump this election cycle, and it's a big problem for Ron DeSantis, and polls are showing this as well, for the record. They don't care that much. They still think, one, Trump is better on woke issues than Ron DeSantis, which is hilarious because it's all charisma and nothing to do with like actual legislation at all. Okay? They do not give a shit about like Ron DeSantis making it illegal for a teacher to, I don't know, have a photo of her and her partner at the desk. You know what I mean? Like Republicans that care about that are insane, but the broader voter population doesn't care. Part of it is because nobody likes smarmy, annoying woke scolds that are constantly ruthlessly yelling about one issue. When they're like, oh, don't consume Bud Light, it's trans, don't do this, it's gay, don't do that, it's woke. Constantly screeching over and over and over again about like, oh, don't go shop at Target, how dare you. Yeah, they've become social injustice warriors, but ultimately they're annoying. Okay, they're annoying, constantly chirping about boycotts and whatnot, constantly talking about like, oh, my Starbucks order doesn't have the Christmas logo on it, I'm gonna kill myself. It's gonna be boring after a while. People are gonna get annoyed. So that's what's going on with the social injustice warriors and the vice signalers, all of which make up the base, the hypothetical base that Ron DeSantis thinks exists out there, because his triangulation is so stupid.
You think he should have ran?
No.
Oh,
no,
so you don't
I
even think he should have ran?
I don't think he can beat Trump. As long as Trump doesn't get arrested, as long as he is, he's been indicted again, and, who knows where that goes. But if Trump's not in jail, he can't beat him.
Yeah.
And the people that love Trump, they feel like this is a witch hunt, and they feel like all the things he's getting indicted for are bullshit anyway. Not only does it not work, but it kind of hardens their position that he's being targeted, and that these are like the actions of a banana republic. You take your political rival and you arrest him, and specifically you charge him with things that you're fucking guilty of, like the documents, like the classified documents. Biden's guilty of the exact same issue.
You gotta respect the level of deceptiveness that's been used. I mean, look at what Hillary did, going and saying, hey, it's Russia, but it was really, what she was doing, and now they're using a similar play as well. Yeah.
And the people that love Trump, they feel like this is a witch hunt.
What? I wish Hillary Clinton went to jail for so many reasons. One, because it would have been fucking dope. Two, because maybe it would shut these fucking idiots up for like 3 seconds. But like, probably not.
Election fraud, do you think is real?
Here we go, Joe. You want to go to election fraud?
Yeah, because I don't think it's zero.
No,
it's
no
not
way.
zero.
Yeah, no shit, it's not zero, you fucking... Oh my god, you are such an ape. It is impossible for there to be zero election fraud. Or not election fraud, voter fraud. There's so much election fraud. It's a different thing, okay? The point is it enough to legitimately change the outcome of an election? And there has been studies conducted on this from right-wing operatives, from right-wing think tanks, from right-wing administrations, from liberal administrations, nonpartisan NGOs, and every single one, including Donald Trump's own Election Security and Integrity Committee, they have found the same exact thing. No, there isn't enough voter fraud for it to even move the needle a little bit. And by the way, a lot of those voters are Republican. That's the other part that we never talk about. Everybody always talks about, oh my God, voter fraud is happening so much, so egregious, it's so crazy. It's like, oh yeah? Well, Republicans are also doing it. Oh, 1,400. This is their big crazy revelation. If you think that this over 1 billion votes that have been casted over the course of 30 years, more than 1 billion votes. If you think that this is statistically significant, you are a fucking ape. Okay, why do you call him an ape? He is just not informed. Joe Rogan? That's why I'm calling him an ape. And also, a lot of these convictions, exactly, are people who had lost their voting rights, but they thought they could vote after serving their sentence, like the people in Florida. Some of these are also improperly filed voter registration. It's not even like deliberate attempt. It's not even fucking deliberate attempts of like, I'm gonna go and do voter fraud to vote for Donald Trump or some shit like that. It is so laughable laughable that this is what moves the needle for the Republican Party. Those are proven, though. What does that mean? Yeah, of course these are proven. What are you saying? Proven. No shit, Sherlock. How am I supposed to prove something that's made up? Yeah, that's the funniest part. It's like, well, those are proven instances of voter fraud. What about the unproven instances of voter fraud? Okay. How do you prove something that's not real? Like, go ahead. Prove that you're not a pedophile. Okay. I'll call you a pedophile. Go ahead. Prove that you're not a pedophile. How are you going to do that? Good luck. Oh, American elections are pretty secure as it gets. That's it. Couldn't a lot of those election frauds be? No, voter fraud. Individual voter fraud is different than election fraud. Election fraud, election engineering, electioneering, or even voter suppression. These are things that happen regularly. These are the real problems, not voter fraud in the sense that like people are going out and like voting by the dozens, undocumented immigrants are going out and voting illegally. All that stuff is bullshit. As a matter of fact, that narrative, in spite of the fact that there's no empirical evidence to suggest is true, is utilized by the Republicans to justify election fraud, voter suppression.
Zero. I think we could all agree it's not zero.
No way it's not zero.
And we know that these voting machines can be fucked with.
Yeah.
And we know that there's some irregularities, all that Kerry Lake stuff.
I hope he gets sued by Dominion, dude. Fuck you. There's no fucking way this piece of shit doesn't know what he's doing. I'm sorry. I hope Dominion wipes the fucking floor, slaps him with a fucking $1 billion lawsuit. Come on.
In Arizona that they're trying to dismiss. It doesn't look like that's invalid. It looks like there's real fraud there. It looks like there's some real shenanigans there. At the very least, there was voting machines that weren't working properly, and it seems very suspicious that a lot of them were in Republican areas. There's a lot of shenanigans.
Oh my God. We, as an American society, in the year 2023 of our holy Lord, are unfortunately too stupid to come back from. It's done. We've passed the barrier of stupidity, and it's done. This is the same exact narrative that dumbasses deployed against the sound of freedom. Oh, well, the AC wasn't on. What are they hiding? Oh.
God's children are not for sale.
God's children are not for sale. Oh, God.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Oh my God. Dude, this is so sick. Dude, they got all the best. They got everybody on board. Oh, this is so good. Oh, dude, it's awesome.
3 weeks later.
What the fuck? Oh my God. No way. That's so sick. I mean, that's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, folks. I don't like that. This is fucking crazy.